Hi and welcome to the Guitarist Tone Lounge. I'm Neville Marten.
Hi, I'm Richard Barrett.
Today we're looking at the brand new Boss Katana II amps. If you've watched the Tone Lounge before, you'll probably know that we loved the original Katanas when they came out a couple of years ago, and Boss have upgraded them for the Katana II, haven't they, Rich?
Yes, they have, yeah. More sounds, more effects, more connectivity possibilities. Well, they're long words, aren't they?
Absolutely.
But that's the kind of vibe that we're looking at here, yes.
Exactly, and we're going to walk you through the sounds. I'll talk you through, Richard's going to do some playing. And, well, it's very simply, we've got them set up like a normal valve amp. Boss is very keen to point out that these are analog Class A, B power amps in these amps, so they sound and act and feel like a proper guitar amp. They are a proper guitar amp.
And that is actually probably the most important thing, the last thing that you said about the feel, really. It does feel like you're playing through a proper amplifier.
It does.
Because I think that's been a common thing about other types of amp that aren't a valve amp.
Yeah.
That they sound okay a lot of the time, but they don't feel right.
They don't react with you and your guitar the way that these do. Some do, but these do it exceptionally well.
I mean, there's volume control changes and all that on the guitar. I suppose I could show some of that as we go through.
We'll show all that as we go along. Right, we've got them set up at the moment bypassing the effects part of the amp, which is we'll get to later. These are set up just like a regular amp, just the normal valve amp that we all know and love. So should we talk through what we got on these amps?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we basically have 5 types of amplifier and a variation on each. So I'll try not to make too much of a meal of this. I'll go through the clean. I'll start with that. So that's the clean with the variation button out. Let's put it in. I can definitely hear an upper mid hardness coming, like a bright switch. If I just...
Definitely,
it's fairly clear
it up a bit, hasn't it?
here in the room. So if I take that onto crunch, I'm not changing any of the other settings. I've got this reverb set globally, just for a little bit of niceness. Fairly flat EQ and gain settings, so... Okay, let's hear a variation. That's definitely much tougher.
Definitely.
More like a bright switch in that instance.
Yeah.
Right, step 3 onto lead. Let's have a variation on that. That was quite pronounced, actually, wasn't it? It became a bit more fizzy.
Yeah.
Right. And the last on the dial, before I talk briefly about the acoustic setting in a minute, is brown. So... with variation. Okay, so again, that's brought out the biting sort of edge that you could trim further, really, with the treble or the presence, I'm guessing.
Yeah, set as they are, but both amps are set just like a normal guitar amp. So anything that you want to tweak, like the gain, like the volume. We've got these set as Boss recommend with the master full up. So it works like a proper valve guitar amp. Because lots of them do say use your master flat out. So that's what we've done. So there's a volume which is essentially the level that you'll hear in the room, and the gain is just like the gain. You just a bit more drive on the front end. That works very intuitively. A 3-band equalizer, bass, middle, treble. We've got them set pretty much, flat.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there's no need for any extreme settings, and I think because there are slightly different features on each of these, I'm just looking over at your one before I speak. But we've both got the power scaling, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
So this first notch here being standby, which took me a couple of minutes to realise when we plugged in this morning. But then I'm on half a watt, 0.5 watt, which does seem quite loud already.
Yeah, that's what we're using in the room here.
But certainly the physical constraints of recording levels and everything aren't really going to permit me to show what this is like wide open. It will crack phone screens.
Yes. What power have you got on there?
Half a watt.
And then it goes up to, is it 50?
And it goes up to 100 watts. Yeah, so this will go up to 50. I mean, I could probably just give you some idea.
Yeah. On this one, it's half a watt again, and 25 and 50. So this is the 50 watt model. Richard's got the 2x12 100 watt. I've got the 1x12 50.
Yes, so there are a couple of extra bits on here, like a presence control, and I've got the cabinet resonance, which might be worth looking at now.
Okay.
I've had this set to vintage for everything that I've played so far, but using the crunch sound and changing key to A, thought that'd be a nice touch. I'll play a lot of muted things because I think that's when this kind of feature comes into its own, doesn't it? So that's vintage. Let's go modern in the middle position. It feels a little bit faster. I'll just add a bit of gain. There's a bit more low-end focus, like there's been a low shelf put on a slightly higher frequency. And then we have deep. Certainly sat on top of it like this, I'm feeling it through the soles of my feet. So I might cycle through them very quickly. Modern. And deep.
The 3 cab resonances definitely sound different. Again, it's subtle, just like the amp variations. It's a subtle thing, but you don't really want vastly different sounds, do you?
Yeah, I found that my experience tells me you tend to end up with usable and unusable otherwise,
exactly.
like that. And probably the louder we were to get, the more it would become apparent as well.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, in the room, these sounds are so realistic. They sound exactly like they're meant to sound.
Yes, they do. I mean, and there is a bewildering array of options for further tweaking to really personalise this. Yeah. Both the basic tones and then when we get into the effects. And
so I mean, essentially here, all we've done is treated these like just normal guitar amps that you'd find a million of in the street. But what's very interesting about them is the built-in effects. There's even more interesting stuff where you can actually plug these into a computer and set the amp exactly as you want it to be set.
Yes.
But we'll go into that a bit later on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, change the effects, the parameters that you can control remotely and so on and so forth.
Exactly. It's incredibly tailorable and not in a complex way either. The effects that come built into the Katana II are on these two dual concentric pots, and the effects are Boss's most popular ones. You can load different ones yourself if you want. They're up to 65, aren't there? 65?
Yes, I think there are
Yeah.
65 available. Obviously, you don't access them all from the control panel of the amp. You need to plug into the outboard software, and then you can customize absolutely to your heart's content. So what we have is essentially a demonstration of the most popular ones.
Exactly. So there are two dual concentric pots. So if you can see, there's an upper pot and a lower pot, a bigger pot and a smaller pot, or knob, should I say. And fully anti-clockwise, they're off. And as you rotate them clockwise, you add the amount. So it goes
see
from...
the lights are coming on the panel to tell us that they're
as I
engaged.
turn that on, you can see these lights come on. So these are now both active. So what we'll do, let's start with a bit of boost. So that's the lower ring on here. So if I turn that on, you see the light come on, and I'm on the green. I can scroll through that to go through red and orange, and they basically select slightly different kinds of boost. So I think the green is a blues driver, and then it goes kind of up from there.
Right.
So all right, Rich, try a bit of drive. Okay, that was the green.
So, right, okay. I started playing a little bit too early because I was so keen to hear what it was like. But so that's the red.
Yes.
So in effect, what we have there is a clean amp with a Boss distortion going into it.
Exactly, and that's a real. I mean, you can kind of recognise that tone. That's a well-known. It's like the SD1 or something, isn't it? Something like that, isn't it? You know, it's a great sounding. That's a rocky. Whereas the previous one was a bit more bluesy, into blues rock. Right, let's go for the next one, the orange one. And that one is considerably more again, but it's a softer drive, isn't it? Whereas the middle one was a harder edged drive.
Mids.
Yeah, and we can, as Richard said, you can go onto the Boss Tone Studio on the Boss website and select from the 65 different effects, and you can download those onto your amp, so your amp can be exactly as you want it. As I say, these are Boss's most popular effects. They might not be your most popular ones, so you can tailor your amp exactly as you want it to be.
And I think that you can go down to the micro level of which of these knobs for the effect it might be the drive, it might be the tone on the drive. You decide what you're going to be able to, what you are going to want to be able to access on the fly, and tell the software. So it might be the depth of your chorus, or the tone of your drive, or the delay length.
I mean, and if you've got another gig where instead of having chorus and tremolo and whatever, you needed auto wah and you needed an octave pedal like that, just go on there again, download those for that particular gig. So it's a very, very user-friendly and incredibly deep a way to do it.
Most possibilities will have been covered in some way. And I was going to say there that on this 100-watt version, which I think is the fully spec'd up version, I've got 4 tone settings and another bank of 4 that I can access. So chances are you'd have to be in quite a lot of bands before you had to go back into the software.
Let's have a look at some. I mean, you can put all these things all together if you want. We're not going to now because it's going to get a bit too complicated. But let's have a look at the mods, the modulation. So if I turn that on, that's gone from being off to on as I turn it. So let's see what the first mod is.
So in the way that the old CE1 chorus had chorus intensity button. I
Exactly.
remember that seems to be functioning a bit like that.
Yeah, that's right. I'll do the next one. Let's see what that is.
That would be truly mind-boggling in stereo.
It would, wouldn't it? And you can, with the 100-watt ones, you can link two together with just a single cable, so you have double
Yes,
bubble.
true stereo. Yes,
Yeah, true. So it's very simple to do. So if you didn't want, say, the Tuba 12, you could get two 100-watt models, separate them, and you get this amazing stereo. There's more to come as well.
Yes.
Right. So that was what would you call that?
I reckon it was a phaser.
A phaser. There's some nice kind of almost tremolo effects in there as well. See what the third one is. The orange one. Yeah.
To my ears, that's flanger.
Yeah.
So
I will add a bit of boost in just to see, because
yeah,
a bit of that's actually really nice. And what I like about these effects is they're not over the top, even at full whack.
Yes.
They don't go into stupid mode, do they?
No, I mean, I expect to have to search around a bit for just the right thing, and that can sometimes change depending on the room because I'm fussy.
Exactly.
But yeah, they do work as you'd expect rather than...
Exactly. As you'd expect with a modern amp like this, you can save any sound that you want to the amp as well, but we'll come on to that in a minute. I'll move on now to the effects and the delay. Right. Now again, just as we had with the booster and the modulations, the dual concentric pot, turn it slightly and they're now active.
Oh, and I saw the tap tempo start to flash then as well.
So for the delay, you can tap tempo that. So
so we have the effects on there, don't we?
We do, don't we? Let's try that.
We'll be back in about 45 minutes.
Exactly, hours of fun. Okay, I'll go on to the next one. I'll go on to the red to see what we have here.
Much more subtle, isn't it?
It is.
I think it's more analogy.
Very nice. I'll try the next one, orange one.
Yeah, brighter again. I don't know if that's perhaps tape or something. Haven't got the manual in front of me.
Okay, I'm going to leave a bit of echo on there because it's nice to have a bit of ambience going, and I'll move on to the effects part of it. Again, turn the knob to engage the effect.
Oh, on comes the light.
And on comes the light. Let's see what we've got there. rather nice tremolo on there.
I can imagine perhaps assigning the speed of that to a foot controller,
Yes.
which you can do.
Yes.
That could be nice.
Yeah, and this adjusts the speed. I think it probably adjusts a little bit of intensity as well at the same time.
Sounds that
I think
way,
it just
doesn't
generally shifts everything up a bit. Okay, and move on to the next effect, which is... It's nice.
Why does that make people smile loud?
I know, it does.
And with a little bit of delay, yeah?
Yes,
yeah, it's
lovely.
happening.
Okay, try orange.
Can pretend I'm strong enough to bend bass strings.
Exactly. Added a bit of boost there as well. So you can mix and match these effects really nicely. And again, that didn't go silly, did it? Everything remained very usable in the kind of ballpark that, you know, on stage you don't use these effects going mad. You can't use it. So
No, it's true, it doesn't work.
you've got to stay real world with these things, and that's what I like about this. In the old days of things with effects built in, because they wanted to show you what they could do, often the presets were bonkers, and you just couldn't ever use them.
Oh,
could you?
yeah, absolutely. I remember things like spaceship landing and alien ray gun and things, and I did make the most of them in some demos.
Exactly. Well, of
Comedic
course,
effects, but that was all they were good for.
Of course, next to the two dual concentrics is this single pot, which is the reverb. But again, I think we said before, the reverb I'll turn the effects off.
Right. Oh, so we've just got pure
Just
reverb.
turn the effects off. We've just got pure reverb.
Right.
And okay. I need you off so bad.
I was frightened about wiring this up out of phase, you know, soldering iron, taking it to the back, but I'm glad I did now.
Okay, next one.
Yeah. It's hard to describe, but it is different, isn't it?
So you probably got, I'm guessing, you've probably got a spring reverb, a plate reverb, and a hall reverb.
Yeah.
That sounded a bit hally to me.
Yes.
See what this one is. Is that kind of gated reverb or something?
It's shorter, it's quite intense, but it's
Yeah,
shorter, so it's
yeah.
a kind of big room.
But actually, what's nice about these amps is, without sending you around the bend, you can spend ages twiddling around with it, messing around with it, finding what you like on it.
Well, yes, I mean, I was saying, I haven't got the manual in front of me, and I'm not running to grab it either, because I don't need to. We can hear what's going on.
No, they are intuitive. The feel, I mean, every sound that we've had, every sound you've played, sounded just like it was supposed to do. That.
Yeah. I didn't feel like I had to wince or anything.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Really, really nice sounds. Right, it seems like a good time to look at how we store some of the sounds, which of course we can do on these amps. Richard's plugged back into the 100-watt one here because there's twice as many storage spaces on his than there are on the 50-watt. I've just got the 2 here, which with a switch on here you can double up to 4. Richard's got 4, which you can double up to 8.
Yes, I'll just program a couple, and the other reason is I can't reach over there as well.
That's true. Or C.
Or C,
exactly,
mind you, I can't see anything these days because I'm getting old. But what we have, okay, I'm set to panel mode, which means that the way the knobs are set is what you get. There are no surprises. So, what have we got? A cleanish sound with a bit of reverb. So let's say that my go-to clean tone is going to have a little bit of chorus on. Well, let's have a look. Yeah. So you see, I turned the mod up and I cycled through till I found something that suited. Yeah, okay. Maybe a little bit of delay as well. So if I add that. Nice bit of analog. All right, I know I like that. I'm going to save it, including the gain and the volume settings and the amp type, all that stuff. Channel 1, hold. Everything flashes. That's an affirmative. You have saved. Okay, well, why don't I come back out of that into panel mode so that I know exactly where I am. Let's get rid of some of those because I'm going to set up a more distorted, maybe a crunch stroke lead sound. So I've gone to crunch mode, taken the gain up a bit, maybe the mids up, treble down, all the things that might make it sound a bit thicker. In fact, why don't I virtually stack a pedal in front of it?
Absolutely.
So do that, just occurred to me.
Yep.
Booster is the outside. Yeah, let's see what that's like. Let's have a... I think I like that. Maybe some delay.
Okay.
Oh, that's the effects button. Oh, hey, I'm doing well. Now. Okay, so I can choose the memory slot I want to use. I'll go for 2. Right, hold it until all the buttons light up and then it'll flash. Now, I will do this manually from the panel, but with the right foot switch from Boss, you can click between these.
And remember, you can go on to the Tone Studio and download different effects to your amp if you're not a chorus fan, or if you'd rather have something more extreme or whatever. There's even a kind of whammy kind of sound on there as well, which you can download.
Yes.
Which is quite cool and used with an expression pedal.
Yes, absolutely. And the expression pedal can control pretty much any parameter you want, I'm given to understand. Yes, I mean, I'm a fan of running the overdrives with the tone quite low and the level quite high, so I'd probably do that, for instance, and that would work for me.
So as you can see, it's really simple to set your desired sounds. You know, you mix all your effects that you want into a patch or into a sound, which you save to the amp, store to the amp. You don't, things like the power scaling aren't included in that because practically you wouldn't want that, because you'd probably set up your sounds at home on the half watt, because this half watt is a perfect volume for bedroom or studio or something like that.
Oh, yes.
So you'd set your sounds at home like that, but you wouldn't want to get to the gig and you're on half a watt, would you? So, you know, that's separate to that. Yeah.
Except maybe in the top 40 band these days.
That's
I don't
true.
know.
That's true.
It's a different subject.
So there we are. It's really simple, really intuitive. Right, Richard's going to take you through the back panel of the 100-watt model here he's got, because there's a few more things on it than the 50-watt model. So let's go through that one here now. There's all the various ins and outs and the options that you've got available to you. So Richard's going to talk you through those now.
Great. I need my glasses for this. So I'm just going to work through them. There are 2 rows, and we'll start with the effect return and the effect send. So they're self-explanatory. So if the 65 onboard effects aren't enough, then you can hook up some more. Then we go into stereo expand, and the little switch there enables you to connect 2 of these together with one single mono jack lead and create a stereo rig. So you obviously enable that with the on button, and I presume that makes one amp talk to the other.
Yeah.
I don't know quite how it works. It's very clever. Next we have the line out, and then we have the power amp in. So interesting thing about the power amp in is, were you to create your tone using one of the very popular simulators on the market,
modelers and things,
or a modeler, yes, then you could turn the speaker and amp sim off, and plug into an amp and speaker.
So a real amp, a real speaker, yeah.
So you could use this as a platform for that.
That could be your monitor if you're using a floor modeler or whatever that doesn't have its own sound, it doesn't have its own power supply. Then you could use the Katana for that.
And come to think of it, you could probably set it up so that you could send an emulated out to the PA if you wanted, and then send a non-emulated out to this.
Yes.
So, there are so many possibilities, aren't there?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, going on to the bottom row, we have the USB in, which is where you access, the inner workings, hook it up to a Mac or a PC and do your deep editing. Next is a 3.5mm jack for your auxiliary in. I don't know why that was so hard to say. I haven't had a drink. Not yet, anyway. No. So you can play along to backing tracks, things like that. Then we move on to the jack socket for the foot controller, the optional GAFC foot controller, which I believe is only compatible with the 100-watt version. That's so correct. This fully spec'd version, but you can use one of the standard Boss
a simpler,
controllers.
Simpler switcher, foot switch. Yeah.
Yep. Then there's a jack for the expression pedal, so you control the wahs, the whammies, or any other parameter, I believe, on the fly, like Leslie simulator speed, that kind of thing for Dark Side of the Moon. And finally, there's a phones and a recording out, which are just like the Mark I, they're frequency compensated. So that's it.
It's pretty, there's expansive. There's a lot there to get your head around.
Yes.
And obviously you can use it how you like. You can use it simply as we've done here today, or if you're that way inclined, you can go mad with it and use it, to all its for all its capabilities. And it's a very capable amp.
Yes, it can integrate into a variety of applications or systems, can't it? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we've scratched the surface of that here today. I've been using the 50-watt Katana II 50, and that is priced at UK pounds 237. They do a single 12-inch speaker. They do a single 12-inch 100-watt version with all the bells and whistles that this Tuba 12's got, and that is 334 in UK pounds. It's a little bit bigger than this, but not much.
I've got the Tuba 12 100-watt, and this is 439. That's UK pounds as well. And if you just want a head version, there is one available. We don't have it here, but there is a head version available at 369.
Great. Okay, if you had to pick one from the whole range, what would you go for?
I must say I've enjoyed playing through this one today, though I see it as more of a gigging amp.
Yeah.
So if I were able to spend a bit of time tweaking it, I'm sure I'd love it. I'm already thinking about that one as an at-home recording, because you could get a great sound for recording with that.
Oh, definitely could do. I think I'd kind of have a foot in both camps, and I'd probably go for the 100-watt single 12-inch 112, because it's not much bigger than this. and it really could double as a stage amp and your home amp, and literally take your home sounds out on stage with you, or whatever. Just,
I must say, in the times we live in now, you really don't need massive amps on stage.
No, you don't. You've got the
disadvantage.
line out that you can go straight to front of house, or whack a SM57 in front of it, like we've been doing for decades. So yeah.
If anything, yes, I might do a smaller gig where it was backline only with a big fella like this 2x12.
Yeah.
And I could use something like that.
Yeah.
Put it through the PA.
Yeah, or get 2 of the 100-watt single 12s and have your spread 2x12. That's starting to get serious.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks for joining us today. We've thoroughly enjoyed our time with the Katana IIs, and see you next time.